There's only one thing in common with all 9 and 10 figure companies. I'm going to share that with you in this video. So I was having boba with a founder friend, and we were just talking about one of his buddies that sold to a tech company, which is publicly traded, for about $120 million. So pretty substantial amount. That's a 9-figure exit. And the guy had most of the equity. And so we were talking about it a little more and diving into the timeline of his business. And it turns out that this person took over the entire business from his father. His father had been in the industry for about 30 years. And then he took over the business. So the son took over the business, ran it for about 10 years or so. And so you basically have a 40-year timeline that allowed for this level of an exit. And so we were just talking about it more. And we were talking about the time in market. Because when you think about investing, you think about business in general. It's not so much about timing the market, it's more so time in the market. And you continue to build, you ride the ups, you ride the downs, and you keep pushing. And so that was one good example. It took about 40 years to get there. And another example I wanted to share is with another friend who has been in business with the same co-founders for the last 18 years. And they started multiple businesses in different industries, mostly around software. And some companies would do 50 million a year. Some would do maybe 20, 30, 40 million dollars a year. And so they have a track record of succeeding. But again, it took a substantial amount of time to get there. As I think about this more, as I look at more and more examples, as I look at the different masterminds or the different groups I'm in, I start to realize that it isn't so much about the next big idea or the hottest trend that's going to get you there. Most oftentimes, it's the unsexy businesses that the entrepreneur just plugs away at. And it requires an obscene amount of focus, being able to adapt, being able to lock in for extended periods of time. That's what ultimately is going to contribute to building a huge business. And so speaking of masterminds, the reason why I even do a mastermind in the first place is to help me sidestep mistakes, learn from people that have built 9-figure plus businesses, talk to these people because these people are always trying to learn. These people are always trying to get better. And so for example, I had a guy in the group, he basically bought a bunch of agencies. He basically put them into a holding company, but didn't combine all the agencies and took the thing public for $3.8 billion. And this individual, his father had built a publicly traded company. I'm not saying he rode off his father's coattails because he certainly didn't. He built his own success. He built his own path. And through that, he was able to build something very significant. And I think about another friend, he took his company public and it's public for $1.2 billion now. Same deal, he's just been doing business for a long time. If you want to learn more, by the way, about Leveling Up Founders, you can just go to levelingup.com/founders, and we do this event 2 times a year. And it's just about connecting people that are doing at least 7 figures, but ideally 8 or 9 figures. And getting people together, breaking bread, doing activities, and just sidestepping and figuring out new collaborations, because that's also what 9 and 10 figure founders do. But bringing it back to the main point, just to drive this home, if we look at one of the biggest private conglomerates in the United States, would be the Koch brothers. So Koch Industries, the father founded the company in 1940 or so, and the sons continued to build on top of that. And it is what it is today, but the father got it to a certain level, and then the sons took it to the next level. And 1940s, well, I mean, that's been what, a healthy 83 years now? So it just takes time at the end of the day. People talk about not thinking in weeks. People talk about thinking in years. And then people talk about thinking in decades. Decades is plural. It's not just 1 decade. Really, the minimum that's required to build a substantial 9 or 10 figure type of business is 2 decades, at the very least, from what we're seeing. And then finally, I'll leave you with Uncle Buffett and Uncle Munger. Berkshire Hathaway, which is the holding company that they have, it used to be a textiles business that was founded in 1839. Now, they decided to buy the business. The underlying business wasn't that great, but they decided to convert it into a holding company. And Berkshire Hathaway, as it stands today, it became a holding company in 1970, and the uncles are well into their 90s. Munger's actually approaching 100, and they're still having fun. They're still working hard every single day, but to them, work is play. They're just reading a lot. They're learning how to invest into other stocks, buy other businesses, and they're just doing what they enjoy. They've delegated the rest, but it took decades and decades and decades to get to this point. And so as long as you can stay in the game, as long as you can keep pushing, keep learning, you can keep acquiring new knowledge, because knowledge ultimately is wealth and it continues to compound no matter what, you are going to be unstoppable. And so that's what it's going to take to build something that is 9 or 10 figures. So let me know what you think about this. By the way, if you ever need help with marketing, you can check out my ad agency, Single Grain. Just go to singlegrain.com. That is it for today, and we'll see you later.